Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Republic of China. Rebirth of zombies, removing neon and refining corpse to become strong. Lin Chen traveled through the Republic of China and became a zombie named Mr. Ren. He thought he could rise up just by surviving, but he found himself trapped in a coffin by Uncle Jiu with ink thread, about to be burned to ashes. Just crossing over and about to hang up. Fortunately, the zombie evolution system awakened, helping Lin Chen escape into the sky and even giving him a blood-consuming banner. Blood-swallowing banner. Absorb blood essence and enhance the owner's strength. After pondering something, Lin Chen decisively crossed the sea and arrived at the Sakura Country. Looking at more than 120 million creatures, Lin Chen let out a laugh of jia. On that day, the entire life of the Sakura Kingdom was sucked and consumed, and the snow-white blood-consuming flag turned red. In the cities and villages of Sakura Country, all that lies on the ground are dry corpses. When Lin Chen returned to the Republic of China, Uncle Jiu was bewildered and immediately said, "Master Zombie, aren't you pure and righteous?" The government of the Republic of China. My expeditionary cherry blossom mighty general. Please collect your red blood flag. Renting Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Unlucky Zombie Lin Chen. New Book Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The Unlucky Zombie Lin Chen. Republic of China. Warlords divide and engage in chaos, leading to a breakdown of order. The people are suffering unbearably, with a lot of complaints. It is even more common to see corpses on the roadside in the mountains and wilderness. In such a fiercely resentful environment, some mountain spirits, monsters, zombies, and ghosts seem to have a unique advantage, with their strength rapidly increasing. Therefore, it is not uncommon for evil murders to harm people. It's night. In a forest. A coffin made of high-quality wood was placed on the ground. There are also many peachwood branches piled around the coffin. And the most unexpected thing is that there are traces of ink thread bouncing over the coffin. Playing very carefully. Every corner bounced up. There are many people standing around. They were all wearing coarse cloth clothes from the Republican era, holding torches in their hands, whispering or staring nervously at the coffin in front of them. And some people ran over holding peach branches and placed them next to the coffin. After stacking it up, I hurriedly ran away. It seems to be afraid that something inside the coffin will push open the coffin board and jump out to eat people. Inside the coffin. Lying down is a corpse. His facial features are quite handsome, but his face is greenish-green. However, there seems to be a strange and handsome look. Dressed in the official attire of the Qing dynasty, with palms overlapping and placed on the abdomen. However, the nails of 10 fingers are very long, measuring 4 to 5 centimeters in length. And, it's also turquoise. In short, this is a corpse that has already turned into a zombie. And, it's still a green zombie. The levels of zombies are divided into purple zombie, white zombie, green zombie, fur zombie, flying zombie, wandering zombie. Purple stiffness refers to the skin turning purple after human death, hence it is called purple stiffness. Of course. This still falls within the category of corpses. White stiff, the skin of the corpse is white, and it already belongs to zombies. However, this type of zombie is easy to deal with. It is afraid of light, also afraid of fire, afraid of water, afraid of chickens, afraid of dogs. Green zombies are zombies that already have climate and strength. Compared to the white stiff, it jumps extremely fast, not afraid of livestock, only afraid of sunlight. The current corpse is just a green zombie. But suddenly, the tightly closed green eyes suddenly opened, with a blank expression in their eyes. But the next second, this dull color disappeared and replaced it with a lively color. Where am I? Lin Chen thought to say, but as soon as he spoke, it turned into a sound, as if his vocal cords had stiffened and he had lost the ability to speak. Sleeping slot. What kind of situation is this? Upon hearing his own voice, Lin Chen was immediately shocked and felt incredulous. How could my voice turn into this? Even if it's karaoke that has been roaring all night, it's impossible for it to become like this, right? But suddenly, he realized that he was in a dark environment. But I can see things by myself, and I can see very clearly. Something's wrong. This is very wrong, and it doesn't seem like I'm dreaming. The feelings in the dream are not so real. What exactly happened? Lin Chen's mind was filled with doubts, as well as anxiety about the unknown situation. He raised his hand, wanting to touch the surroundings. Before he could touch anything, he saw the sleeves on his arm and his nails. Boom! His brain roared, and his whole body was shivering and dumbfounded. Am I his mother zombie? Lin Chen's pupils were frightened as he looked at the sleeves of the Qing dynasty official dress on his arm, as well as his nearly 5-centimeter green nails. Thinking with your toes, you can think of yourself crossing over and becoming a zombie. In the next moment, a memory entered his mind. His face was taken aback. I actually traveled to Uncle Nine's movie and became Mr. Ren. Lin Chen was greatly shocked. Mr. Ren, he is too familiar. The zombies in Uncle Jiu's movie, Mr. Zombie. Buried in the Feng Shui cave intentionally destroyed by Feng Shui master for 20 years. In other words, he has been kept dead for 20 years and his strength is very strong. If it weren't for meeting Uncle Jiu and enduring another 50 or 60 years, it would definitely be very impressive. After Lin Chen was surprised, he became excited. Mr. Ren has strong strength. If he crosses over and becomes an ordinary zombie, it's better to cross over and become him. Moreover, in Uncle Jiu's world, there are ghosts, and monsters, so I can definitely cultivate. I'll just keep practicing. Maybe when I reach a certain level of cultivation, I can become a normal person again. Lin Chen said excitedly. And thinking of this, he suddenly felt that the situation was pretty good. After all, my previous life was so boring, every day was like a machine, repetitive work. But just then, in my ear, I suddenly heard voices coming from outside the coffin. Chapter 2. Autumn Life Ignites the Fire. New. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Autumn Life Ignites the Fire. Uncle Jiu, all the peach tree branches that were pulled over have been piled up around the coffin. Well, good. Uncle Jiu, are you really going to burn it? My father was most afraid of fire before he passed away. Can you think of other ways? Mr. Ren, we can't drag on any longer. Mr. Ren's body has undergone a transformation and turned into a zombie. Keeping it is a disaster. There is no other way, it would be best to burn it immediately. Qiusheng, take a torch and start the fire. Good master. Ah! How could it have turned into this? With a sigh, the conversation ended. Upon hearing these words, Lin Chen's mind was stunned and he couldn't believe his ears. At the same time, a chill surged from his spine into the sky. I'm lying down. I've been dug out now and I'm about to be burned to death. Lin Chen felt anxious in his heart. He had just thought he was still buried underground, but he didn't expect that he would have been dug out and immediately burned down. How is this different from what's in the movie? Is it because I traveled through time and experienced the butterfly effect, which caused the plot to deviate? Lin Chen thought of this and became very worried. No, I don't want to die. I have to escape. Lin Chen thought he was buried deep underground just now, so he had no intention of going out of the coffin. Because, how can a coffin be buried deep underground? You have to wait until your strength reaches a very strong level before you can break through the ground on your own. But in this situation, he is not buried underground and is also facing being burned. If you don't come out of the coffin again, you will be burned to ashes. Lin Chen raised his hands and pushed the coffin board, but with this force, he felt something was wrong. This coffin board is too heavy to push open. Sleeping trough. What's the situation? Mr. Ren is very powerful, how could he not push a coffin board? Unable to push the coffin board, Lin Chen became even more anxious in his heart. After all, he was about to be burned. So, Lin Chen used all his strength. This time, he finally felt like he had pushed the coffin board. But it seemed like the coffin was tied with thick rubber bands. The more he pushes, the greater the force on the coffin board to cover it downwards. What the hell is going on here? Still unable to push the coffin board, Lin Chen panicked and didn't know the situation. But he gritted his teeth and kept pushing hard, trying to push it away. But the force behind the coffin board is getting stronger and stronger. At this moment, Lin Chen suddenly saw a golden red light shining outside the crack in the coffin board. Lin Chen suddenly realized. And in that moment, he let go of his strength and with a bang, the coffin board closed again. The muffled sound startled the surrounding villagers, who couldn't help but take a step or two back. They all know that there is a zombie inside the coffin, which is Mr. Ren's father. Just now, I saw that the coffin board was pushed open by the zombies inside, creating a gap. However, Uncle Jiu instructed his disciple to play the ink line on the coffin board, but it emitted a golden red light, like a big net, trapping the coffin and preventing the zombies from pushing the coffin board out. Finally, the coffin board was closed again. But this scene made them even more eager to quickly burn down this zombie. In front of the crowd, Mr. Ren's face turned pale, and he wanted to quickly burn it down. He no longer thought that the zombie inside was his own father. After all, at this time, life still matters. Lord Ren had already heard Uncle Jiu say before that zombies would first harm their loved ones. There is a Taoist standing next to Mr. Ren. This Taoist has thick eyebrows, black and white, a serious expression, and is not angry or arrogant. He is exactly Uncle Nine. Uncle Jiu's eyebrows tightened at this moment, with a hint of solemnity. For some reason, he always had a sense of unease in his heart. This kind of premonition is a reaction that cultivators will have to unknown dangerous situations. There is a young man with a mushroom head hiding behind him. It is precisely literary talent. When Kai stared nervously and fearfully at Mr. Ren's coffin ahead, Qiusheng held a torch in his hand and continued to approach Mr. Ren's coffin. The scene just now also startled him. Now seeing the coffin without any reaction, he lifted his leg and walked closer. Walking to the coffin, Qiusheng felt some sweat on his forehead. He placed the torch in his hand on the peach tree branch pile below the coffin. Straw was placed in the pile of peachwood branches, and when the torch touched the straw, it ignited. Qiusheng raised a torch again and walked to other positions in the coffin, igniting the straw. Soon, the fire started to burn. Seeing this, Qiusheng held a torch and quickly retreated. He is also afraid that zombies will suddenly jump out. And everyone present felt a little relieved when they saw the burning pile of peachwood branches. Inside the coffin, Lin Chen's face was solemn. No mistake, the golden red light that just appeared must have been from Uncle Jiu using ink to draw the coffin, just like in the movie. That's why I can't push the coffin board. Lin Chen was furious. But at this moment, he heard a crackling sound. Moreover, there is a tendency for the surrounding temperature to rise. He is now a zombie with no body temperature, so he is particularly sensitive to temperature. Damn it, they've already ignited the fire. Lin Chen cursed. It will cause an increase in the surrounding temperature, and it is only possible that someone outside has lit a fire. Lin Chen felt too wronged. Although he had just crossed over and did nothing, he was about to be burned to ashes. Lin Chen was extremely angry, but he didn't give up. He pushed the coffin board with his palms, wanting to try again and see if he could push it open. However, despite exerting all his strength, he could only push open a gap and could not push it any further. Bang! Lin Chen exhausted himself, and the coffin board was once again closed. However, this time, when he pushed open the coffin board, he saw a blazing fire outside, which was enough to prove that the people outside had really ignited the fire. The coffin board was pushed open and closed again, and the surrounding villagers also saw it. They were once again startled. But when he saw the zombie not pushing open the coffin board and came out, he let go of his lifted heart. However, at this moment, a villager thought of something and whispered to his companions beside him. Uncle Jiu's ink stick thread on the coffin was quite useful. However, the flames burned onto the coffin and burned the ink stick thread. Before it reached the zombies, wouldn't the zombies come out? Don't worry, didn't you listen to Uncle Jiu? Peach branches belong to Yang. After these peach trees are burned, the Yang energy emitted can trap the zombies, making them unable to move and honestly burn to ashes. I see, then I can rest assured, the villager nodded. Inside the coffin. Still unable to open the coffin board, Lin Chen's heart was burning with anxiety. The feeling of death is getting stronger and stronger. He didn't want to just die like this, he was still burned to death, how painful it was. Moreover, I don't know if my soul will enter the underworld for reincarnation after being burned to death as a zombie when Lin Chen was lost in thought. Suddenly, a metallic sound rang in my ear. Ding! Zombie evolution system binding. System. Lin Chen was taken aback in his heart. Immediately, joy arose. He has also read novels and naturally knows what the system is. He didn't ask much and just asked, "System, can you help me out? The current situation is extremely critical. Let's live our lives before we talk about anything else." "Sure, master. You have a beginner's gift package that can be opened to save you from danger. Also, once you're out of danger, I'll introduce the system's features to you." Okay. Lin Chensi was delighted in his heart. There is indeed a way to save oneself and get out. He didn't delay any time and quickly said, "Open the beginner's gift pack." Chapter 3. Lin Chen comes out of the coffin, villagers scare Urine. New. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Lin Chen comes out of the coffin, villagers scare Urine. Ding. Congratulations to the master for receiving the Fury Strike. Comment. Fury Strike is a one-time consumable item. After choosing to use it, you can unleash a powerful strike. Do you want to choose to use it? Use. At a critical moment, Lin Chen didn't hesitate to say. At the same time, he felt a little excited in his heart. With this angry blow, he should be able to open the coffin board, otherwise the system wouldn't say that the big gift package could save him. Ding. Used. The villagers around the coffin are unaware of the situation inside. They looked at the fire ahead. The peach tree branches have all been ignited, and the flames are over a meter high. Although it is unclear whether the coffin has been burned, if it continues like this, it will definitely reach the coffin. And when it burns to the coffin, the yang energy emitted by the peach wood branch can trap the zombie, making it immobile and honestly being burned to ashes by the flames. Everyone present felt a little relieved. They learned before that Mr. Ren's father had turned into a zombie, but they were anxious and uneasy. After all, I always hear that there are zombies eating people and monsters and ghosts harming people somewhere. But there was another person with furrowed brows. He is exactly Uncle 9. Uncle Jiu stared at the fire circle over a meter high ahead. For some reason, the sense of unease in my heart grew stronger. What's going on? Uncle Jiu murmured. But the next second, there was a loud bang, and the thick coffin board flew up, while the traces of ink lines turned into golden red dots and dissipated in mid-air. The coffin board rolled a few times in the air and then hit the ground heavily, making a dull sound. Seeing this sudden scene, everyone present had a blank mind and did not react. And Uncle Jiu, seeing and understanding, quickly regained his senses, his pupils narrowed, and his face showed solemnity and vigilance. Something's wrong, this zombie should be at the green zombie level. How could it be possible to push open the coffin board with the ink dough line? Uncle Jiu was puzzled in his heart. But also make preparations to face the enemy. He placed one hand in front of Wen Kai, subconsciously protecting him. And at this moment, the coffin inside the circle of fire suddenly bounced up and stood on the edge of the coffin. This black shadow is a zombie wearing Qing dynasty official attire, with handsome features but a green face. When the villagers around saw this scene, their hearts trembled and their legs and stomachs became weak. I can figure it out. Lin Chen said excitedly. Immediately, lift your arms and raise your head to let out a hoarse roar. And this roar brought all the villagers present to their senses. Looking at the zombies in front of me, with their arms outstretched, they all seemed to have seen the most terrifying thing in the world. Fear swept over like a tide, and everyone was frightened. Some who were not in good health were scared to pee. My goodness! Zombies have escaped. Run fast! Run fast! Uncle Jiu, save us! The villagers who were watching scattered and fled, screaming in terror, and the scene suddenly became chaotic. Uncle Jiu quickly shouted. Everyone, run back to the village. Close the door and don't come out. But Mr. Ren's legs became weak and he had no strength to run. He took a few steps back and fell to the ground. Looking at the figure standing on the edge of the coffin board ahead, his face turned pale and his expression was extremely frightened. His lips trembled slightly and he made a voice. Dad, Dad. His father keeps talking non-stop. And next to him, there stood a young girl of young age. This young girl has a delicate appearance, a melon seed face, very beautiful, and a good figure. She is none other than Ren Tingting. Ren Tingting stared blankly at her grandfather. She was scared silly and forgot to run away. After Lin Chen finished shouting, he lowered his head and scanned the surroundings. He saw that the villagers had already run away, leaving only Qiusheng, Wen Kai, Ren Leoi, and Ren Tingting. Lin Chen's gaze swept over several people. Then, it fell on Mr. Ren. Facing this unfilial son, Lin Chen bared his teeth to scare him, causing his body to tremble. Lin Chen then turned around satisfied and jumped towards the nearby forest. I saw that Lin Chen jumped out of the circle of fire and landed on the ground, then jumped towards the forest ahead, jumping 3 or 4 meters in one jump. He can't handle Uncle Jiu now. Fighting Uncle Jiu is a pure act of seeking death. As for pushing open the coffin board that had snapped the ink dough thread just now, it was because of the use of consumables such as the Fury Strike. It has been used up now and cannot be used again. So, we can only run away. Uncle Jiu's eyebrows furrowed as he saw the zombie escape. Zombies can suck on human essence and blood, and people bitten by zombies can also become zombies. So, if the zombies are allowed to escape, then all corners of the country will suffer. At that time, things will become very troublesome. Uncle Jiu immediately turned his head and instructed Wen Kai behind him, Wen Kai, take Lord Ren and Tingting back to Yizhuang to protect them. Qiusheng, come with me to deal with that zombie. Zombies will harm relatives first, so let Mr. Ren and Ren Tingting go to Yizhuang. I don't know if anyone has watched this theme. The first day score is very important and the requirements are not high. As long as there are 3,000 flowers, 100 review tickets, 1 person giving a reward, 10 book reviews on the first day, you can get 10 updates directly on the first day. Chapter 4. Lin Chen seizes autumn life. New book counting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Lin Chen seizes autumn life. In the forest. Lin Chen jumped 3 to 4 meters. After landing, he jumped up again. It is also a distance of 3 to 4 meters. Lin Chen actually subconsciously wanted to run, because he was still a human about 10 minutes ago, but the stiffness of his legs made it difficult for him to walk and he could only choose to jump. But now he's used to jumping and jumping. Moreover, it is very relaxed and doesn't feel tired at all, as if walking. Additionally, when jumping up, there is a feeling of flying. After all, jumping far. If anyone sees this scene, they will definitely be scared. At night, a zombie is jumping in the forest. At my current speed, Uncle Jiu and Qiusheng can't catch up with me when running. As long as they run for another half hour and find a place to hide, they should be fine, Lin Chen analyzed. He just discovered that Jiu and Qiusheng were catching up, so he didn't take it lightly at this moment. After finding a safe place to hide, ask what the system's functions are, Lin Chen muttered. He is very concerned about this issue. Just don't have time to ask these questions now, life is the most important thing. Lin Chen jumped and passed by a slope. But at this moment, a young man suddenly appeared on a slope 4 or 5 meters high. This young man is born in autumn. He was very familiar with this area, so he split up with Uncle Jiu's army. Qiushu followed Lin Chen along the original path, and he took a shortcut to intercept Lin Chen. Qiusheng's face was startled when he saw the forest dust below. Immediately, without any hesitation, he took a deep breath and jumped down, shouting loudly. Upon hearing the commotion, Lin Chen looked up and saw Qiusheng rushing towards him. Sleeping slot. Lin Chen wanted to make a national curse, but when he spoke, he let out a hoarse and strange scream. The next second, he was thrown to the ground by Qiusheng. And Qiusheng, rolling and unloading his strength, quickly stood up again, far away from the forest dust. In the next moment, Qiusheng saw Lin Chen standing up straight, covered in dust and leaves. Lin Chen jumped around and stared at Qiusheng. The straight tube-style Qing dynasty official uniform, with a green complexion and a fierce evil aura, made Autumn's hair tingle and hair stand upright. Master, you must catch up quickly. Qiusheng's face was tense and he murmured softly. Although he has good martial arts skills, he is just a little mediocre in terms of Taoism. Faced with a green zombie-level zombie, it's simply unbeatable. And what he needs to do now is to entangle this zombie and wait for his master to catch up. Without much thought, Qiusheng ran towards Lin Chen and punched him in the chest. Upon seeing this, Lin Chen extended his arms and swept forward with a bang. The sweeping arm made Qiusheng stumble several steps. Qiusheng stood firm and turned his head to look at Lin Chen, his face showing fear. How impressive. Just then, he felt the power gap between himself and Lin Chen. Of course, if he knows Taoism, it can completely compensate for his lack of strength. After all, Taoism suppresses demons. Qiusheng's gaze swept and he saw a wooden stick with an arm thickness on the ground. Qiusheng bent down and picked up the wooden stick, then charged towards Lin Chen again. Swung a round wooden stick and hit Lin Chen's neck. Lin Chen raised his hands and with a bang, the wooden stick hit his arm and broke directly. Although Lin Chen only felt a slight pain. But it also ignited fire. I only wanted to escape, but you came with me to use weapons, right? Lin Chen grabbed Qiusheng's arm with both hands and swung it hard, then threw Qiusheng aside like a sandbag, hitting a tree and falling to the ground. Qiusheng suddenly felt a sharp pain in his back, his face turned red, and veins bulging on his forehead. But at this moment, he saw the zombie jump over again, his face changed, and he quickly suppressed the pain and stood up. But at this moment, a familiar voice came to my ears. Autumn born. Upon hearing these words, Qiusheng turned his head and saw that it was his master running over. Master. Qiusheng's face lit up with joy, even forgetting the pain on his back. Lin Chen saw Uncle Jiu running over, still holding a peach and wood sword in his hand. For a moment, his pupils shrank and he quickly gave up the idea of teaching Qiusheng a lesson. He turned around and jumped up again, running away. What? Qiusheng saw the situation and his eyes showed confusion. What's the situation? Does this zombie know that its master is very powerful? Uncle Jiu ran up to Qiusheng and asked, "Are you okay? Have you been injured by his nails or teeth somewhere?" "I'm fine, master. It's just that he threw me, it's not a big problem." "Okay, let's continue chasing it. We must eliminate it. If we let it go, we will suffer in all corners of the country, and it may even be more serious," said Uncle Jiu with a very serious tone. But Qiusheng heard something was wrong. However, at this critical moment, he didn't waste time asking too many questions and nodded with an equally serious expression. "Okay." Then, the master and disciple continued to track Lin Chen. In the forest, Lin Chen was jumping wildly for his life, and his anger grew stronger and stronger in his heart. "Okay, you ninth uncle, you're chasing me relentlessly, right? Wait for me, when I become stronger, I'll definitely come find you. I want you to see me, so you won't have the desire to fight me." I don't know if anyone has watched this theme. The first day score is very important and the requirements are not high. As long as there are 3,000 flowers, 100 review tickets, 1 person giving a reward, 10 book reviews on the first day, you can get 10 updates directly on the first day. Chapter 5. Encountering people from Sakura Country. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Lin Chen's mood now can be described as thunderous. Although he is now a zombie, it is righteous for Uncle Jiu to eliminate him for the sake of the world. However, it is normal for him to become angry when he is chased by Uncle Jiu. And in the forest on the other side, a team of people and horses were driving 5 carriages. The 3 carriages in front have a shed, the 2 carriages behind do not have a shed, they are just carriage boards, carrying a load of miscellaneous items. It looks like a team of merchants. In front of the shed of the first carriage, 2 middle-aged men sat. One of the middle-aged men grabbed the reins and drove the carriage. The speed is advancing at a constant speed. Not too fast, not too slow. The sound of horse hooves kept ringing in the forest. At this moment, the man driving the carriage suddenly remembered something, with a flirtatious smile on his face. He turned to the middle-aged man wearing a suit next to him and said, "Your Excellency, do you think we're going to board the boat and go back tonight? Otherwise, we'll find a small village nearby and have some fun." He spoke Japanese, which is enough to prove that these people are from the Sakura Kingdom. The middle-aged man in a suit, known as Lord Shimura, opened his closed eyes, his expression cold and composed, his eyes filled with calmness. His full name is Shimura Qianming. They were sent by the Sakura Kingdom government to investigate military forces in the Republic of China. Because they have a big plan to implement. That is to invade the Republic of China comprehensively, not to colonize, but to seize this land and establish a new government on it. The Sakura Kingdom government. In other words, during the feudal dynasty, the Cherry Blossom ethnic group wanted to dominate the Central Plains. Upon hearing his friend Matsushita Kawa's ambiguous words, Shimura Chiaki naturally understood what he meant. They rushed on a while ago and met a beautiful young girl on the way. So the group caught him and raped him. I was originally taking that girl on the road, so I could have fun along the way, but the girl took the opportunity to find a dagger and died by wiping her neck. Now that Matsushita Chuan has put forward this proposal, he clearly wants to play with women from Greater China, because they can unleash their animal desires crazily, without worrying about anything, even if they play to death, it's okay. After returning to the Sakura Country, one cannot play with women so recklessly. Shimura Qianming also felt a bit tempted. They are all very skilled and have guns, so there is no need to be afraid of encountering resistance from the villagers. However, after thinking for a moment, he shook his head and said, "Our mission to investigate the military situation of the Republic of China in Dahua has been completed. This task is crucial and we have reached this point. It is better not to make any unnecessary mistakes, as it is related to our official career." Shimura Qianming also really wants to do this. However, He still felt that at this critical moment, it was better not to add more trouble and to bring the task situation back to Sakura Country as soon as possible. Anyway, there will be plenty of opportunities to come to the Republic of China in the future. We can come to Dahua Republic of China next time, and then we can have a good time. Shimura Qianming felt a surge of desire in his stomach. He raised the corner of his mouth, revealing a strange sneer. Okay. Listen to you. Matsushita Chuan also showed an evil smile. Actually, he still wants to go. However, Shimura Qianming's words made sense, so he could only suppress his thoughts. In order to stop thinking about such things, he changed the topic and said, Your Excellency Ishida, the fall of the Qing dynasty left a big mess for the Dahua Republic of China, and the warlords of the Dahua Republic of China were fighting fiercely, only focusing on internal conflicts, like a pile of scattered sand. The land under our feet now is not only easy to obtain, but it will definitely not be too difficult. When will our emperor order an invasion of the Republic of China? Shimura Qianming pondered for a moment and shook his head truthfully, saying, It's hard to predict, but in the future, the national strength of our Sakura country will gradually become stronger, and the stagnation of the Dahua Republic is certain. Unless the Republic of China can give birth to a great man who, with a weak force, can support the collapse of the building and turn the tide to the end. However, this possibility is really too small. It is impossible for such a great person to appear in the current Dahua Republic of China. So, when the gap between us and the Republic of China widens again, invading the Republic of China will be even simpler. Matsushita Chuan nodded at the words. The screen rotates. Lin Chen is still jumping in the forest. Suddenly, he fell to the ground and stopped. Then, he jumped in place, turned around, and looked in the direction behind him. Only saw, did not see the figures of Jiu and Qiusheng. He felt a little relieved. Then, jump in place again, turn around, and continue jumping forward. Although he did not see the figures of Jiu and Qiusheng, Lin Chen did not completely let go of his worries. Who knows if Qiusheng will suddenly come out from somewhere and entangle himself. Moreover, if Uncle 9 catches up with him, it will be ruined. Damn it. Although it's easy to jump and feels like flying, I still need to jump in place when I turn around. It's too shy, fortunately I haven't been seen. Lin Chen is very embarrassed. Forget it, let's not think about it anymore. I haven't seen the figures of Jiu and Qiusheng yet. Let's just jump and ask about the system's functions. Lin Chen has been eager to learn about the system's functions since just now. This is a normal situation. Anyone who obtains the system would want to understand its functions. Although we haven't completely escaped danger yet, it's still possible to jump and understand the system at the same time. After thinking about it, Lin Chen asked, System. Master, I'm here. The metallic sound of the system echoed in my ear. Now you can introduce yourself and introduce your features. Good master, the system voice sounded again. This system is called the Zombie Evolution System, as the name suggests, it can help the master improve his strength. I am giving you a blood-swallowing flag, which has been placed in the system backpack. This blood-devouring banner can devour human essence and feed back to your master, enhancing your strength. In addition, master, you also have the ability of chaos value. As long as you cause destruction, slaughter, and panic among humans, you can earn chaos points. If the chaos value reaches a certain level, you can receive rewards. PS. I don't know if anyone has watched this theme. The first day score is very important and the requirements are not high. As long as there are 3,000 flowers, 100 review tickets, 1 person giving a reward, 10 book reviews on the first day, you can get 10 updates directly on the first day. Chapter 6. Go to Sakura. You are listening at novelfull.audio. And the rewards are all good things. The system has finished speaking. Lin Chen's green eyebrows furrowed. This system wants him to become a big demon in the chaotic world. After all, Lin Chen is a reborn person. To be honest, as long as there is no illness in his heart, no one wants to do such a thing that harms the world, right? What is the difference between indiscriminately killing innocent people and harming one's own people, and being a little devil like a beast? This is the period of the Republic of China, where the people were already suffering and struggling to survive. How could I do such a thing? Lin Chen muttered to himself. But what came to his mind? But if I don't do this, my speed of improving cultivation should be very slow, right? Mr. Ren has been buried in the cemetery for 20 years. Although he is already very strong, he still cannot compete with Uncle Jiu. If I don't absorb human essence and blood for cultivation, and find a place to cultivate a corpse, I don't know how long it will take to cultivate before I can defeat Uncle Nine. Perhaps, during my cultivation period, Uncle Jiu's cultivation level has improved, or maybe even if he burps his butt. Lin Chen fell silent in thought. He doesn't know how to make a choice. However, after a while, he still couldn't bear to use the people of the Republic of China era as supplementary materials to improve his cultivation. Damn it, I still can't forget the oath I made under the red flag that year. Lin Chen said. He served as a conscripted soldier for 2 years and then retired. It is precisely because of this that he is unable to devote himself to using the common people as supplements to enhance his own strength. Lin Chen was jumping and jumping. Suddenly, he saw a convoy of carriages approaching on the right side of the forest path ahead. Lin Chen quickly stopped jumping and then hid behind a tree to prevent them from seeing him and causing unnecessary trouble. Lin Chen hid behind the tree, quietly listening to the sound of horse hooves and the sound of the wheels pressing against the muddy soil. But at this moment, the sound of communication and conversation rang out. Lin Chen was immediately surprised when he heard the voice of the speaker. Sleeping trough. People from Sakura Country. The language used for speaking is exactly the language of Sakura Country. And as a modern youth, how could he possibly not hear the language of the little devils? What are the people of Sakura Country doing here? Lin Chen focused his attention and listened to the sound of communication. During this period, the Sakura Kingdom had not yet begun to attack Hua Kingdom, so Lin Chen wanted to know what this team of Sakura Kingdom people were doing here. Lin Chen has studied Japanese for a period of time. Although not considered proficient, I can barely understand some communication conversations. How about exploring a small village nearby and having a good time? The military mission of assassinating the Republic of China has been completed. Next time, let's visit the Republic of China and have fun. The sound of hooves gradually faded away, and the sound of communication could no longer be heard. However, Lin Chen frowned and his eyes were cold. He just heard their conversation, although he didn't fully understand it, he could still guess their purpose with half understanding and half guessing. In order to invade the Republic of China, we sent scouts to investigate its military strength. Now that the mission has been completed, we are ready to return to the Sakura Country to report, right? Lin Chen thought to himself. Now his vocal cords are stiff and unable to produce sound, so he has become accustomed to speaking in his heart. Just now, they said they wanted to find a village nearby to play, so they resorted to their animalistic methods. It's highly likely that they would do that kind of thing. And since they would propose this, it means they have already done it before. Lin Chen felt a chill in his heart, with a murderous intent. He measured that he had already escaped so far, even if Uncle Nine wanted to catch up, it would take a lot of time. During these times, it was as easy as the little devils who had taken down this convoy of carriages themselves. Even if these little devils see themselves, they might be so scared that their legs will be weak, so it would be even better to kill them. Kill as you please. Lin Chen's gaze was indifferent, without any hesitation. Innocent compatriot Lin Chen cannot bear to harm, and of course, bad people are excluded, such as warlords who do nothing wrong. As for the little devils, they are not human at all, and there is no psychological pressure to harm them. But just as he was about to catch up there, Lin Chen suddenly trembled and his brain roared, thinking of something important. By the way, I can go to the Sakura Country and use the blood-swallowing banner to suck up the essence and make it stronger. Lin Chen thought to himself, his eyes also brightened up, and his face showed surprise and excitement. The blood-swallowing banner can help his cultivation grow rapidly, and of course he will want to use it. However, he had never thought of this before, and he couldn't bear to use innocent people as supplements to strengthen himself, so he gave up using it. As for the people of Sakura Kingdom after the outbreak of the war of aggression against China, the entire population of Sakura Kingdom was making efforts for the war, even women and children were the same. Therefore, the people of Sakura Kingdom deserve to die. Lin Chen pondered. A few seconds later, he made a choice. It's decided to go to the Sakura Kingdom and use the blood-swallowing banner to absorb the essence and blood of the Sakura Kingdom people and become stronger. Lin Chen's eyes sparkled with cold light. Immediately, without hesitation, he jumped out from behind the tree and headed towards their convoy, intending to follow them. Because from the conversation we just heard, they went to the ferry tonight and left the Republic of China using their own merchant ship. And you can take the opportunity to get on the ship. In this way, another benefit is that even if Uncle Jiu wanted to break his mind, he wouldn't have thought that he would drift across the sea to the Sakura Country. Not long. Ferry. I saw a large wooden merchant ship parked on the river in the darkness. On the flagpole, there is also a flag of Sakura Kingdom, indicating that this is a merchant ship of Sakura Kingdom. The lights on the merchant ship were brightly lit. On the wooden ferry walkway, there are many labars carrying goods towards commercial ships. Then, he walked out again, continued to carry the goods, and walked towards the merchant ship. Next to the ferry, there are two men standing. These two men are communicating in Japanese. Your Excellency Shimura, why haven't they come yet? Have you forgotten that today is the day to leave? I shouldn't forget, this was agreed upon. Hiss, could something have happened? The other man's face changed with a brush. The current chaos among warlords in the Dahua Republic of China has led to a breakdown in order. It's possible that they will encounter any villains who have been killed. It's unlikely. Your Excellency Shimura and his team are so skilled and carry firearms. Unless they encounter soldiers from warlords on a large scale, there won't be anything wrong, said the man who spoke earlier. However, he frowned slightly, obviously not having much confidence in his words. I waited for a while longer. The Libas have all loaded their goods and stood beside them, waiting for the wages from these two cherry blossom countries. But these two people from the Sakura Country have no such idea at all at this time. They have been staring at the road ahead, hoping to see the figures of Lord Shimura and others. This is almost approaching the agreed departure time, why haven't you come yet? Is something really wrong? The man who spoke earlier felt uneasy. But just then, the sound of horse hooves suddenly came to my ears. P.S. I don't know if anyone has watched this theme. The first day's score is very important and the requirements are not high. As long as there are 3,000 flowers, 100 review tickets, 1 person giving a reward, 10 book reviews on the first day, you can get 10 updates directly on the first day. Chapter 7. Danger. Uncle Jiu and Qiusheng catch up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 8. Uncle Jiu proposes to inspect the merchant ship, but Shimura refuses. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After discovering the identities of Shimura, Qianming and others, Qiusheng leaned into Uncle Jiu and whispered, Master, they are from the Sakura Kingdom. Look at the river over there at the ferry, there is a merchant ship from the Sakura Kingdom parked. Uncle Jiu is knowledgeable and knowledgeable. However, what he saw were all evil things. Like a foreigner, he hasn't seen much before. So, I can't understand which country's language Panasonic Chuan and his team are speaking. However, at this moment, upon hearing Qiusheng's words, he turned his head to look at the ferry crossing and saw a 2-story merchant ship moored on the river surface. On the flagpole of the merchant ship, there is a flag of the Sakura Country. He furrowed his brow. Immediately, yet without moving a word or expression. He is also aware that with the decline of the Republic of China, foreign countries are watching closely, and the future will definitely be even worse than the current environment. Just as Uncle Jiu was pondering these things in his heart. Merchant ships, inside the lower compartments. Lin Chen hid in the gap between the cargo and the ship's hull. He heard a sound coming from outside. But the sound was too low, he couldn't hear what was being said, he could only hear laughter. What's going on? Why did you suddenly burst into laughter outside? There was no movement just now. Lin Chen muttered to himself, feeling uneasy. Suddenly, he thought of something and his face was startled. Did Uncle Jiu and his team come after him? But with this thought in mind, he felt something was wrong. Even if Uncle Nine and the others catch up, these little devils have no reason to laugh, right? After some consideration, Lin Chen decided to go out and take a look. If it were really Uncle Jiu and the others caught up and came into the cabin to find themselves, wouldn't it be like catching turtles in a jar? Go out and take a look yourself. If you find out that Uncle Jiu and his team have caught up, you can still be prepared. Thinking of this, Lin Chen jumped forward and jumped out of the gap. Then, he jumped towards the outside of the cabin. Jumping outside the cabin, Lin Chen stopped and then put his outstretched hands down. He poked his head out and looked in the direction of Shimura, Qiusheng and others. You can see the backs of Jiu and Qiusheng. They are currently standing in front of Shimura, Qiusheng and his group. Sleeping trough. It's really them. They really chased after me, how did they do it? Lin Chen's scalp exploded, and his heart was numb. He didn't expect that it was really Uncle Jiu and Qiusheng. How did they manage to follow him all the way? They shouldn't be asking these little devils to come and search the ship now, right? Lin Chen couldn't help but think negatively. Never agree. If they were to board the ship to search, I would have to leave. In this way, my plan to sneak to the Sakura Country would be ruined. Lin Chen shouted in his heart, his expression tense. If Uncle Jiu and Qiusheng come to search on the ship, then he can only choose to escape here immediately. It's important to save his life. After Qiusheng whispered to his master about the identities of these people, he turned his gaze to the surroundings, hoping to find the figures of the zombies. Suddenly, his gaze fell on the river again, and the merchant ship in the darkness muttered to himself, the place where we chased the zombies just now has only one merchant ship to hide from. Could the zombies have run into the merchant ship? Autumn is full of doubts. He thought for a moment and decided to propose this conjecture. He whispered in his master's ear again, Master, we've been chasing after you all the way. Now only that merchant ship can hide zombies here. Why don't we go search for them? Maybe that zombie hid on that merchant ship. Upon hearing these words, Uncle Jiu looked towards the direction of the merchant ship again. In the darkness, the merchant ship was quietly anchored on the river. At this moment, he also had this feeling in his heart. When Shimura Qiusheng saw the two fraudsters whispering in front of him, he couldn't help but furrow his brows and his tone became cold. We didn't see any zombies, you guys hurry up and leave me. Shimura Qiusheng speaks Chinese. They were sent to the Republic of China to carry out missions and naturally understood Chinese. The other person's tone was not polite, and Qiusheng's face was taken aback. The next second, his anger immediately rose and he wanted to come forward and say something. After all, he doesn't have any favorability towards the Sakura people. How can one have a favorable impression of people who covet their own country? Damn it, we're thinking for your safety, isn't this attitude? Qiusheng cursed in his heart. But suddenly, one hand blocked in front of him. He turned his head and saw that his master had stopped him. Qiusheng didn't speak. And Uncle Jiu didn't look at Qiusheng, but rather at the black suit man in front of him. Uncle Jiu frowned slightly and said, that zombie is very powerful, so for your safety, let's go check on the ship. Uncle Jiu doesn't understand Japanese. So, I don't know what they were laughing at just now, and I also don't know that they don't believe in the existence of zombies at all. What are you saying? Matsushita Kawapi said with a smile, do you still want to board the ship for inspection? Do you not understand Chinese or are you deaf? We want you two to get out of here quickly. Ha ha ha. The others laughed again. Qiusheng gritted his teeth, clenched his fists, and even trembled slightly, which was caused by too much force. In his view, he and his master were helping them overcome the crisis, but they didn't appreciate it at all and even mocked and ridiculed them. If it weren't for his master blocking him, he would have punched him high and low. Uncle Jiu furrowed his brows even deeper and advised him kindly again, that zombie is not an ordinary zombie, but a green zombie, a zombie that has become a climate. If it really hides in your mall, then this is not for fun. In Uncle Jiu's eyes, he also doesn't like people from Sakura Country. Their life and death are not important. But if Mr. Ren really hid on the merchant ship and let it escape, it would be in big trouble. Nearby towns and villages will all suffer. So, he insisted on asking Shimura Qianming to board their merchant ship for inspection, with the aim of preventing Mr. Ren from actually hiding on their merchant ship. Cut it. If there are really zombies hiding on the merchant ship, we can deal with them ourselves. Shota Narita sneered. Seeing Uncle Jiu's insistence, the gaze in front of Shimura cooled down, and his tone became filled with a murderous intent. He said word by word, I told you to go, don't you? P.S. I don't know if anyone has watched this theme. The first day score is very important and the requirements are not high. As long as there are 3,000 flowers, 100 review tickets, 1 person giving a reward, 10 book reviews on the first day, you can get 10 updates directly on the first day. Chapter 9. The merchant ship set sail for Sakura Country. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 10. Lin Chen is discovered. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Chen has determined that the merchant ship is sailing based on the shaking of the ship's hull. And he is also aware that it will take a lot of time to go to Sakura Country. In the blink of an eye, I don't know how many days have passed. Lin Chen hid in the lower cabin of the ship, unable to see sunlight, and therefore had no concept of time. Suddenly, Lin Chen's closed eyes opened, revealing a look of boredom. Boring. I can't even absorb energy to practice on this sea, and my cultivation is stuck. I can't go out and see the night outside yet, it's a bit unbearable. Lin Chen frowned and said helplessly. He is green stiff and unable to see sunlight. Because sunlight can burn him to ashes. You can only move freely at night. Moreover, he can also practice with the moonlight of the moon. But if he jumps onto the deck and is seen by Shimura Qianming and his team, they will definitely come and attack, and Lin Chen can only kill them all. But in this way, he doesn't know the route and doesn't know how to pilot commercial ships. How can he go to Sakura Country to start a business? Lin Chen shook his head. I can only endure these boring days at sea. I don't know how things are with Uncle Jiu. With Uncle Jiu's personality, he should have already turned over all the nearby villages and towns to find me, right? But if he wants to break his head, he wouldn't even think that I would take a merchant ship to cross the sea and go to the Sakura Country. Lin Chen thought to himself. Every time he thinks of this, he feels less bored and feels that his plan is just too perfect. Not only can it improve cultivation, but it can also avoid the mortal enemy in Uncle Jiu's life. The next day. Late at night. The stars are shining brightly, and the crescent moon hangs high. Below the moon, there are thin clouds and mist drifting by. On the boundless sea surface. A duplex merchant ship is sailing. On the upper deck of a merchant ship, there are 2 kerosene lamps hanging. The dim yellow light is the only source of light in this night. Inside the merchant ship. On the stairs. A man wearing white close-fitting clothes, holding a kerosene lamp in his hand, was cautiously going downstairs, seeming afraid of causing any disturbance. His name is Lin Chen Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi Ryosuke descended into the lower cargo hold. And Lin Chen, hiding in the gap between the cargo and the ship, suddenly opened his eyes. He heard the faint footsteps and knew that someone had arrived, feeling a bit nervous and worried about being discovered. Yamaguchi Ryosuke was unaware that there was a mischievous creature hiding in the lower cabin of the ship. He lifted the kerosene lamp, the dim yellow light illuminating the surroundings. Unfortunately, the illuminated range is very limited and cannot illuminate the entire cabin. In addition, the dim yellow light can only barely make things clear. Yamaguchi Ryosuke carried a kerosene lamp and walked towards the corner of the wooden box, muttering to himself, "I remember the gold, silver, and jewelry that I secretly snatched at that time were wrapped in a black cloth bag and stuffed into a red box. I will arrive in Sakura Country in another month and a half, so I need to quickly find it. If Matsushita and the others know, it's inevitable to give them some." During his mission, Ryosuke Yamaguchi secretly went to grab some gold, silver, and jewelry. Even Shimura Qianming didn't know about this matter. And now he wants to steal these gold, silver, and jewelry out. Because once he arrives in the Sakura Country and distributes the goods, his bag of gold, silver, and jewelry will definitely be discovered. After being discovered, it can only be distributed to everyone. And he doesn't want to distribute, he wants to monopolize it on his own. After all, he went to grab it himself. Yamaguchi Ryosuke walked towards the corner where the luggage was stacked, carrying a kerosene lamp. And Lin Chen was hiding in the gap between the suitcase and the hull. Lin Chen heard Yamaguchi Ryosuke's self-talk and understood his purpose in coming to the lower cabin. Seizing the gold, silver, and jewelry of China, and definitely killing someone, that's really damn it. Lin Chen gritted his teeth and restrained his desire to kill. He had already decided to kill these people as a supplement after the merchant ship arrived in Sakura Country. But suddenly, he realized something again, and his heart was suddenly startled. Sleeping trough. He just said that the bag of gold and silver beads was hidden in the box, which means he is now heading towards the corner where the boxes are stacked. Lin Chen looked surprised and turned to look at the boxes piled up higher than him next to him. These boxes are securely secured with ropes and will not tip over due to the swaying of the hull. But to find something from this pile of boxes, one must untie the rope and move down the boxes to search. And in this way, you will inevitably find yourself hiding here. It's troublesome now. Lin Chen's expression panicked. But soon, as if he had made some decision, his panic disappeared and he replaced it with a cold color. Yamaguchi Ryosuke gradually approached the stacked boxes. Walk to the stacked boxes. Yamaguchi Ryosuke looked down from above, but did not see the box where he hid gold, silver, and jewelry. It seems to have been piled up inside, Liangjie Yamaguchi muttered. He carried a kerosene lamp and walked to the side. He needs to go into the gap between the hull and the box to untie the rope that fixes the box. Then move these top boxes and find the box where you hide gold, silver, and jewelry. After receiving it, hide it in the kitchen compartment. Then, when you arrive at the Sakura Country, find another opportunity to go to the kitchen compartment and take it away. Yamaguchi Ryosuke has already figured it out. He walked up to the gap. However, due to the weak brightness of the kerosene lamp, the gaps are still pitch black. Additionally, he did not insert the kerosene lamp into the gap. But just as he was about to walk in, suddenly, a hand stretched out from the darkness ahead. This hand is green all over, with 5 nails and feet 4 to 5 centimeters long, also green in color. And there is also a rope in the palm of my hand. Upon seeing this scene, Ryosuke Yamaguchi's scalp exploded and he trembled, saying, "What the hell is this?" He turned pale, surprised and puzzled, unsure of what it was. The next second, he swallowed his saliva, lifted the oil lamp, and trembled as he reached into the gap. I saw the dim flames gradually illuminating inside. But then, the firelight illuminated a turquoise face. Seeing this face, Ryusuke Yamaguchi's brain roared, and a chill surged from his spine to the back of his head, making his hair stand on end.